week's episode of Ninja Slayer. Ninja Slayer and Nancy fight their way to the bottom of an evil underground cloning facility that's cloning Yakuza, cops, and bio ninjas. This week's episode was goofy as all hell and probably featured the most Aqua Teen styled animation that I've seen from the series. Despite that, this week's episode was a lot of fun and ridiculous, but very simple, but that's actually a good thing. So, Ninja Slayer and Nancy make their way to this underground facility where they see all of these Yakuza guys, and they even have like their own brand or watermark like right on their chest that actually belongs to the Sokaya Syndicate, and it looks like they're trying to make more of them and some cops so that they can actually put them into Neo Saitama City so that they can slowly take over everything. But there's this other group of bio ninjas who are trying to defect and create their own group. They are known as the Survivors, and they create their very own Survivor Dojo. And these guys have some fantastic designs. This first guy has all of these bamboo swords all over his body, and by all over his body, I mean like they're literally like impaled inside of himself, and he can pull them out and use them in a number of different ways. But then there's these other three guys who just bring things to an entirely new level. First, there's Frogman. As his name implies, he's half ninja, half frog, and I love the detail where his ninja mask is actually like frog lips. It looks really cool, and he's riding around on this giant yellow toad, and then you have this other guy by the name of Disturbed, who is this weird, almost like gooey Zetsu clone looking ninja. Like he's constantly like dripping, and he can like manipulate his hands and turn them into weapons. And last but not least, there's Notorious, who is my personal favorite. He's this big, four-armed ninja, and as cool as these guys are, Ninja Slayer just completely destroys them, with a little bit of help from Nancy, of course. Now, the action scenes in this week's episode are very minimal. There are a few shots that look really good, but for the most part, it's a lot of Aqua Teen-styled animation, just cut-out figures. Like, I especially love, I think my favorite scene of the entire episode was probably when Nancy decided to actually help out Ninja Slayer in this week's episode, and they basically just reuse like her artwork and they just add a gun to her hand, and it just looks so awkward and hilarious. But really, that's all I have to say about this week's episode. So what's the rundown? On this week's episode of Ninja Slayer, very simple but very fun. This was a really funny episode which played to the comedy strengths of Ninja Slayer. A lot of it was you know, maybe unintentionally funny, but still, just moments like in the beginning when they're sneaking into the facility with Ninja Slayer fighting against the guards, just haphazardly tossing them into the garbage, and then they finally make their way to the bottom, and that's when things just get ridiculous, because there's fan service all over this episode, for both sides of the fence, which is pretty cool. So you're gonna get a lot of Nancy bubage, and then you're gonna get some awkward close-up shots of the Yakuza guys when they're actually inside of these weird containment tanks. But again, my favorite thing about this week's episode, and this goes in line with the rest of Ninja Slayer, is I love the character design of the show. Every single ninja that he fights against is so distinctive and interesting, and they always just manage to like have them have these designs like where they slightly resemble ninja. Like they all have like a weird looking ninja mask, so they're sort of keeping that theme going, and I think that's really great. The character of Nancy, I still don't quite know what they're really trying to do with her character. We still need more backstory for her, because I really just don't know anything about her, aside from the fact that she's just this really badass hot chick who knows how to infiltrate these facilities, and she wants to work with Ninja Slayer. She might have an ulterior motive, she might not. It's really hard to say at the moment. But still, my biggest complaint with this one, though, is that we're still not getting back to the story of the Ninja Master with Dragon Gendoso and his granddaughter. That's just something that they sort of abandoned a couple episodes ago, and I really want to know what's going on with that, because that seemed like a really big turning point for the series, where Ninja Slayer himself was actually going to start working with some more people, starting to learn to control his ninja powers, and in many senses he has come a long way. I mean, from the first episode, he was completely solo. Now he's actually working with Nancy, although he doesn't seem to be enjoying himself too much, although that's kind of hard to tell, because Ninja Slayer's emotions are pretty much constantly the same. And that goes in line with the comedy of the show, and probably my favorite thing about Ninja Slayer is just the fact that every single time he's about to get into a fight, he's extremely polite, and then he just completely destroys and curb stomps them in the most ridiculous way possible. There's also a lot of scenes this week where Frogman ends up saving his team in the most ridiculous fashion. That, combined with the stick figure animation, just makes this a laugh riot episode. On the upside of things, though, you know, it looks like they're getting closer and closer to the finale of the series. You know, it's amazing how quick we're actually already getting there, and I kind of hope they can give us a little bit more with the other side characters, because like I said, we haven't seen them in quite some time. I mean, not even mentioning Dragon Gendoso, but like, remember the character of Koki? Like, we haven't seen her in like weeks. weeks, and I'm really interested to see if they were just going to use her for the beginning of the series, or if they were going to bring her back. I really think it's only a matter of time before Ninja Slayer is going to sort of like create his very own group of Nakama, so that they can actually go up against the Sokaya Syndicate. But we're just going to have to wait and find out. On the technical side of things, like I said, this week's episode really was just a lot of Aqua Teen-styled animation, but the character designs and the color schemes are still amazing. The music is also just really great and infectious. Again, there's another new ending song this week, which didn't really do too much for me, but then again, it was nice, had some good imagery, so check it out, Ninja Slayer fans. This was a pretty good episode right here. Nothing too crazy, but if you've been following the series, definitely check this one out, because it's got some great laughs, some great characters, and some pretty cool action. So that was what I thought about this week's episode. I thought it was okay, but what about you? Did you watch this week's episode of Ninja Slayer? Did you have a favorite scene, a favorite new character who showed up? What do you want to see from the rest of Ninja Slayer? Thank you guys for watching my review. Make sure to like it and share it with all of your friends. And make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That way you can see all of our latest anime and manga reviews as they are released. And make sure to also follow us on social media. Thank you guys again for watching. And as always... Ninja Slayer and Mancy... Mancy? She ain't no man.